Don't lock them in. Most of the cars you're locating are not because of equipment. What are they because of? Paint jobs. Stop selling the paint job. Very important that you understand. Sell the car. Don't lock them in. You know, assume that people have different tastes. Think back when you personally bought a different car than you thought you were going to get when you left home. Most people will do that till you lock them in. Are you getting good value out of today?
Yes, I am.
And you're new to the business, or?
No, I went on 19 and a half years.
19 and a half years, and you're getting, what are you getting out of this thing?
Turn it up a couple notches, and just to be reminded I am a professional.
And today I will be paid for my professional services. What are you getting out of today, Bob Ott?
Yeah, I'm getting the attitude and also buy here from me now.
Buy here now from me. How long you been doing it?
6 years.
6 years. But still in all, there are veteran salespeople in this room who have gotten lax on some of the things you know you should do. I might not be teaching you entirely new things, but I'm certainly reminding you of things you stopped doing. When that customer says, "What's your best price?" is that your first opportunity to be weak? I mean, it's your first chance to be weak. It's your first chance, if you choose to be weak at that point. Would you agree?
I agree.
Whatever you say next. And some of us have been folding up. I mean, all of us would at one time or another. Select a vehicle. Very important step in the sale. Now, I'm going to say one thing to you. If the customer knows what they want, and I have it, they want a red Accord with gray interior, and I happen to have such a vehicle, I'm going to bring it forward. Do not take the customers to the lot if they know what they want, and you have it. If they know what they want and I don't have it, then I'm definitely taking them out to the inventory. I have a friend named Ziegler. Does anybody know who that is? Now, I'm no relation to him, but he's in the Speakers Association with me. Zig Ziglar says, "A confused mind always says no." Don't take the customer out there and confuse them. They know what they want, bring it up. Don't take them to that car with other cars around it. Does that make sense? A confused mind says no. That's why I always tell F&I managers, don't show the customer a variety of service contracts. You pick out the service contract you intend to sell, and that's the only one you present. Do I have some F&I managers in the room? Very good. Present the vehicle. The presentation is the value building step in the sale. Presenting the vehicle is presenting the value. I hate to say what I'm about to say, but in the car business today, our product knowledge is terrible as an industry. I don't know you personally, but as an industry, we have gotten to the point where we no longer adequately present the vehicles to the customer. When I never made $200,000 a year as a car salesman. But in 1982, I was making $100,000 then as a salesman, which I think was pretty good money then. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
And my presentation skills is what I considered to be why I was as successful as I was. Not my negotiating skills, my presentation skills. My ability to present the car to the customer and make them see the value. The customer must actively help you to present the car to them. You don't stand there and lecture the customer about the car. Make the customer flip the switches. Make the customer help you to show them the car physically. Does that make good sense? In 1980, 81, 82, we had the 280ZX. And a lot of women bought those cars. That was very female-intensive sale. I can still recall, okay, Mary, look through here a second. Now grab that lever. Now, Mary, be careful. This is going to weigh about 45 pounds. Now lift it off, come out to the back of the car with it. Don't drop it. Put it under your chin like a pillow. Now let's pull the case over it like a pillowcase. Put the Velcro down. I would make the female customer take the 45-pound T-top off that car and take it to the back of the car and put it in the case. When I was showing her the car, I would make her participate. And you made her lift that heavy, well, she buys the car, she's going to have to do that, isn't she? Am I going to treat her like she's delicate on the car she's buying? Never tell the customer what unless you're prepared to tell them why. And during the presentation, always create a visual imagery of the client using and enjoying the product. We're selling to the customer's visual mind, not to their logical mind. What's your name here? Jeremy. Jeremy, have you ever had a dream that was so emotional that you woke up in the middle of the night and you sat straight up in the bed? Oh, shit. God. Oh, golly. Oh, man, that was emotional. Perspiring, breathing hard. I mean, that dream brought you up from 15 REM sleep all the way to wide awake, sitting up in bed, breathing hard. I mean, your pulse was racing, and you couldn't remember what the dream was about. How many people had a similar experience? A lot of us? Well, there's a reason for that. That dream happened in your emotional mind, not in your logical mind. That dream was a right-brained experience, and you went looking for it in your left-brain logical mind. I want the customer to buy the car in their emotional mind. And that's a concept you really have to work on. You know, are you keeping the customer into logic? Are you talking numbers instead of making the customer see the value of something? Mr. Customer, we have ABS brakes. Tell me everything you know about ABS brakes, Matt.
Not much.
Do you sell cars that have ABS brakes?
Yes.
But how much do you know about ABS brakes? What would you tell a customer about them?
Not a whole lot. I don't.
Not a whole lot. Now, what kind of cars do you sell?
All kinds. All kinds. Used car lot.
Okay, but are you basically domestic, import?
Both.
Okay, there's a man that wants to tell me, Steve, tell me all about ABS brakes.
It keeps, when you have to stop fast, it keeps your car under control. It won't skid out of control, so that's what ABS helps you do.
That's a good explanation, but you help me out here a second, Craig.
It allows you to pick what you're going to run into.
Okay, I don't really like that explanation. Okay, try it over here.
They're going to keep your family safe.
They're going to what?
Keep your kids and your family.
Keep your family safe. Tell me everything you know about ABS brakes.
Here?
Yeah.
It's like hitting the brakes 100 times faster than a human being can do it, and it keeps it from going into a skid. You can control your vehicle.
You got the concept. Baseball hat in the center. Tell me about it. You didn't think you were going to get away being in the back row, did you?
I was hoping so. Basically, you got your brakes, like he said, hits them a lot faster. Basically, keep your family safe in the aspect that your car's not going to be sliding. And you throw in.
I got a volunteer over here. Take you off the hook.
It allows you to brake and steer.
Okay, he said it allows you to brake and steer. Now listen to my version of ABS brakes. Mr. Customer, your new Dodge product has ABS brakes, anti-lock braking system. Mr. Customer, ABS brakes have a sensor on each of the four wheels that monitors whether that wheel is spinning out, skidding out of control, or whether that wheel is stopping in a straight line. In a panic stop, when you are very afraid, in a panic stop, when you are very afraid, when you are having to make split-second decisions, and there's a high element of danger, you put the brakes down, and those sensors will make 18 safety-related decisions per wheel per second, releasing and reapplying the brake in such a way that you can steer while you're stopping. And if you're headed toward a telephone pole, you can steer around the telephone pole and the rear end of that car will not fishtail or spin out of control, even on wet streets or ice, as long as one wheel can find traction. Okay, let's vote on his explanation or mine. How did I do, Sean?
Excellent.
Did the customer get a visual of that brake? Because I said, when you are in a panic stop, when you are afraid, when you are having to make split-second decisions in a high element of danger, last thing in the world you need to think about is pumping your brakes. ABS brakes have the ability to apply and release the brakes 18 times a second per wheel. That's faster than a hummingbird's wings move, Mr. Customer. You can't envision anything happening that fast. Is that good? Faster than a hummingbird's wings move. It keeps the back end from fishtailing or spinning out of control when you are in a panic stop situation, even on wet streets or icy streets, as long as only one wheel can find traction. What do you think? That works? Absolutely. Mr. Customer, when you are sitting in the cockpit of your new Honda Pilot, you are sitting in a cockpit that was ergonomically designed by orthopedic surgeons. Mr. Customer, ergonomics is a science of building a machine to fit the human condition. You can reach all the controls without hyperextending past your normal reach. You can see all the gauges clearly through the steering wheel. We have tactile controls. You can feel the on and off position of every switch. We have stalk-mounted steering wheel mounted controls. We have third-generation airbags. You're just dying, aren't you, to tell me everything you know about third-generation airbags? No. Go ahead, tell me about them.
Well, they, when you're in an impact, they sense the severity of the crash along with...
Wait a second, you're doing pretty well here. I picked you because you didn't look like you had a clue. Listen to you. You're doing really well. I'm joking with you, you know that. Yeah, you're doing good. Okay, so they measure the severity of the crash, and then what happens?
And then they deploy at various speeds based on where you are in the vehicle and how much you weigh.
What do you sell?
Pontiac Buick GMC.
You just did an excellent job, thank you.
Give him the lead.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Mr. Customer, to better understand third-generation airbags, you have to understand first-generation airbags. What were first-generation airbags made out of? Anybody? Canvas, rough, coarse canvas. They came out at one speed, 180 miles an hour. Now think about that. And they were deployed by a big shotgun shell-looking device that was in the steering wheel. It had powder in it and was a hot gas explosion. They came out at 180 miles an hour, superheated. Coarse canvas, like hitting your face with a red hot file. Granny sitting up on the steering wheel. Knocked the shit out of her. Broke her nose, broke her jaw, gave her a concussion. Excuse me. They saved your life, but they ruined your face. I mean, that was first-generation airbags. Somewhere around the year 2000, the manufacturers started phasing in second-generation airbags. Second-generation airbags are multi-stage airbags. They come out poof, poof, maybe 3 times, poof, poof, poof. Big, big, bigger. And they were cool gas explosions, not hot gas. They still came out at 180 miles an hour, but it was a soft, silky material instead of canvas that would scrape the flesh off and burn you. So you had a cool gas explosion, multi-stage deployment. Then, Mr. Customer, around 2003, 2004, right up to present, the manufacturers, including Honda, who are leaders in this technology, started phasing in third-generation airbags. And the manufacturers are going different directions with this. They come out in multi-stages, but they only answer exact opposite force and severity of the crash. They only come out how fast it takes to answer the severity and force of the crash. And if there's less than 65 pounds in the passenger seat, they don't come out on that side at all. How good is my explanation for the customer? Would I tell it to every customer? That one probably, but some of the stuff maybe, maybe not. But you got to know everything. Make a story out of everything. Don't just tell them what it's got, tell them why it's got and why they would want it. Make your presentation interesting. Was that little piece of history about airbags interesting to you? And if you're a consumer, you're standing, no other salesman did that. All they said, got third generation airbags, as if you're supposed to know. How good was that for you? Did it make sense?
Very good.
You know, it didn't used to take a lot of salesmanship to sell a Honda product. I mean, back 20 years ago, you're buying an Accord, sir, it'll be here in 6 weeks. I need the money now, it's $5,000 over sticker, and it's going to be yellow. That was the whole sales process. You know, the customer had very little choice. But today, ladies and gentlemen, the pie has gotten no larger, no smaller, and there's more people taking slices out of it. We're still selling 17 million new cars every year and 43 million used cars. And new manufacturers are making those slices thinner every day. You've got to be a precision salesperson. You've got to win the mind of your customer. You've got to get that customer emotionally bonded to this car and want it. When I was a consultant for Ford Motor Company, when I was actually consulting for the manufacturer, it was amazing. Ford came out with adjustable brake pedals, adjustable gas pedals, years before anybody else. Where's my Ford people in the room? Is that true? Ford had adjustable pedals 5 years before Dodge, General Motors, anybody. And consumers really like that feature. Actually, female customers like that feature a lot. Or people that are shorter stature, where they can sit back farther from the steering wheel and be more relaxed when they drive. I can't tell you how many times I took a TO in a Ford store and I said to the female customer, I said, how did you like those adjustable pedals? And she said, what are you talking about? The salesman never presented them. If the salesperson, you, never presented the feature, does the feature exist? No. Does the customer perceive they're paying for that feature? ABS brakes are $1,700 to $2,500 addition to every car in the room. How many people have cars with xenon headlamps? What are you selling? That has the xenon. Oh, no. How many people sell a car that has xenon headlamps? What are you selling? Celine Mustang. What are you selling? Mazda. Anybody sell Escalade? Escalade has it. How much do xenon headlamps cost on the S2000? About $2,500 a set. If you don't explain the value of xenon headlamps to a consumer, do they understand the value they're paying for the car? If you can't explain that it's a bright white light that penetrates fog, mist, that smoke in the air, if you can't explain to them the value, that it's 70% more focused and 30% brighter than quartz halogen, then you can't build value in it. Am I making good sense? The presentation, the $1 million walk around, when you walk around that car, this is the most important part of the sale, and unfortunately we do it badly. Product passion. You gotta love what you do. What's the next step in the sale? What are we gonna do next? Help me out. Driving the car is not optional. They gotta drive it. A customer doesn't drive your car, won't buy your car. I was in Denver, Colorado, Christmas a year ago. I certainly wouldn't want to be there today. Little blizzard happening there. Did you hear about it? And it was pretty cold when I was there December a year ago. And I was at the biggest Chevrolet dealership in Denver, Luby Chevrolet. And the general sales manager said to me, he said, Jim, what'd you think of our Save-A-Deal meeting? I said, you know, you had 70 ups on Saturday, 70 opportunities. 6 of those people did not drive the car, and you gave all 6 of them figures. He said, yeah. I said, all 6 of those people did not take delivery. Gentlemen, ladies, you must understand. A customer that doesn't drive your car won't buy your car. It is one of the ultimate things we have to achieve on the parking lot. Drive my car. Mr. Customer, we're not going to require that you buy the car. I'm going to give you all the information with no pressure to buy whatsoever, but we do require there's a possibility you might own it. An automobile is 15,000 high-tech component parts. Get this word track. 15,000 high-tech component parts. Plastic, metal, rubber, glass, space-age materials, welded, stapled, riveted, glued, fused together by human beings and robots. Some of these parts moving at speeds in excess of 10,000 RPMs. Less than 3,000th of an inch of clearance, 1,000th of an inch of lubrication. Some of these parts are rubbing and abrading against each other, creating high levels of heat. With more than 10,000 times the computer memory we put Apollo 11 on the moon with back in 1969. No 2 of these are alike. 15,000 component parts. Plastic, metal, rubber, glass, space-age materials. Welded, bolted, riveted, fused, glued together by human beings and robots. Some of these parts moving at speeds in excess of 10,000 RPMs. Less than 3,000th of an inch of clearance, 1,000th of an inch of lubrication. Rubbing and abrading against each other, creating high levels of heat. The customer says, damn. You know, you know, when I was in F&I, I used to say, if we built this car 98% perfect, 300 parts would fail. Sir, you did not buy a low-tech pair of shoes on your feet without trying them on. You're certainly not going to own a vehicle that you didn't drive. We're going to give you all the information you need to make an intelligent and informed decision. All we require is you select and drive a vehicle before we discuss the figures. That's fair, isn't it? Challenge their fairness once again. Now, if I'm at the sales desk, here comes Patrick. Hey, Patrick, how you doing? Did people drive the car? They didn't drive the car, you're telling me. They didn't drive the car. Are you sure they won't drive the car? You must be, or you wouldn't be here, right? They did. Okay. Dewey, you have an up right now?
Yes, I do.
Do you have an up? Introduce yourself to his customer. You get him to drive the car. Let's split his deal. Or would you like another shot? The point is, as a salesperson, that should be the most important thing you're trying to accomplish. The now commitment, drive my car. That's where the shopper becomes the buyer. On the demonstration drive, let them drive as long and as far as they would like to go. How many people have been in the business more than 20 years? Where's my 20-year people? There you go. Craig, 20 years ago, you made 3 right-hand turns and returned to the dealership, true?
True.
3 right-hand turns and you're back. You got to remember, that was $7,000 cars. Let the people drive. Let them drive as long and as far as they would like to go. Be sure you got gas, by the way. You got that? Let the people drive. Now, everybody pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. It's important. On the demo drive, you shut up. Don't run your mouth on the demo drive. And we have a tendency to do that because we're gregarious people, aren't we? What's your name?
Pat.
Hey, Pat, on the demo drive, you be quiet. Where do I want the customer buying this car? Their logical mind or their emotional mind? Where does speech happen? Logical mind or emotional mind? When a customer is talking to you, they are in their logical mind. Why is the customer driving this car? Josh?
Because they want to buy it.
But why are they driving it? What's that, Jason? Why are they driving it, Jason?
I like it.
Why?
To get the feel for it.
To get the feel for it. The customer is driving the car. Why have I got them driving the car? What am I trying to get out of this? I want the customer to bond with the car like a woman bonds with her baby. I want the customer to start to perceive this as my new car instead of a new car. This is where the emotional transference comes over. If you're sitting there running your mouth, does that customer have any emotional experience of driving that car? And I see salesmen sitting there just running your mouth for no reason. We do it. I've done it. You like the way the car drives, sir? How's that radio sound? How much down payment you got? Sir, do you like Vietnamese food? Quit it. Don't sit there and run your mouth. If the customer asks you a question, answer it. And shut up. You want the customer to turn at the next intersection. Sir, I need you to turn up here. Ma'am, I'd like you to turn over here. Then shut up again. And not only do I not talk to the customer, I try to engineer a situation where they don't talk to each other. Say I've got a full-size Tahoe, full-size Sequoia. I'll put the husband in the front, wife in the back. Wife driving, husband in the back. Try to find a storefront that is a mirror. Try to find a storefront that if you drive past it, it is total reflective. We just bought my wife a brand new SL 550 SL Mercedes retractable hardtop. Nice car. My wife's blonde. So we got her a red SL 550 with beige leather interior. Got it from RBM Mercedes of Atlanta. I cracked up when the salesman put her right next to the mirrored wall of the dealership and said, look at yourself in this car. And I watched my wife sitting at the steering wheel of that SL 550, and I realized she was posing. She was doing all these different facial expressions, and she could see herself in that car. That is one of the most powerful things. If you can drive past a mirrored storefront, there's one in every neighborhood. Just find a shopping center that one of their walls is a mirror and drive the customer right and say, look at yourself in this car.